Howdy howlers, it's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voight. I write horror and I'm a witch and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things. Today I am pulling the witch card and we are reading through Year of the Witch. We're going to be talking about Litha today. I wanted to say hi to Charlie. To technically, Christina on Charlie's phone. Oh. Good morning, Amelia. Good morning, Megan. So good to see you guys. I hope the notification thingies are working. Maybe I will... Boop, boop. Okay. I would like to share. All right. Yay, Christina is back. Oh, the StreamYard hasn't caught up yet. StreamYard hasn't caught up yet. Okay, I'm here now. My phone took forever to charge this morning, but I'm here. Let's talk some witchy stuffs. Yay! How are you doing this morning? Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. How about you? All the niceness. All the niceness. The sun cannot figure out if it's going to be out or not. I'm trying to decide if I should take that ring light and do the ring light thing. I went to bed at 5:30 in the morning, and I woke up at 9. So that is how I am currently feeling. I will need a nap later. I will need a nap later. Had my glasses for 2 years and I still always catch myself squinting because I forget to put them back on when I change my clothes. I'm an adult, I swear. Yeah. Naps and coffee are on the agenda, and indeed. I'm just about out of coffee cup number 1. Am I up for 3 cups of coffee? I don't know that I am. My heat is going nuts this morning. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Hey, Mikhail. How's it going? Long time no see. Jeez. I'm just like reading through books and chatting about holidays this week. Talking about Litha. How the fuck are you? Jeez. I don't know if my streams are all that interesting these days. Ridiculously good. Just got approved for 200 therapy sessions. Hooray, socialism. Hooray! Congratulations. Congratulations, is that a word? Just about finished with cup one as well. I have a whole pot calling my name. My kidneys beg to differ, but that is why we drown them in water too. They can't object if they can't talk. They can object if they rebel. Litha. The sun does not shine for a few trees and flowers, but for the wide world's joy. Yo, okay. Whew. Sweaty. My heat is blasting for some reason. Litha, also known as midsummer, is the celebration of the summer solstice. Hey, cat. Hope your stream is going well. I gotta fix this lighting situation. This is nuts. All my cords are tangled. I can do it. I swear I can. That's a little better, right? All right. Where was I? It typically occurs on June 21st, opposite of the winter solstice. A fire festival, we see the gods in their full glory after the death, sleep, and rebirth that occurred during fall, winter, and spring. Litha is the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere when the sun is as far north as it is ever going to get. The summer solstice was widely celebrated throughout northern Western Europe and is believed to have been a big feature in the Celtic communities throughout Britain, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Finnish Midsummer is a fantastic event. Ordinary people doing folk magic out of tradition. That's awesome. I would love to know more. Maybe some of the traditions will be mentioned in this book. Like many folk holidays, the church did try to take over the solstice and move most of the festivals to June 24th, which they named St. John's Day. Being in the light half of the wheel, Midsummer has fire festival associations, same as Beltane, and large bonfires are lit to symbolize the sun, sensuality, life, and fertility. Festivals that take place during this time of year tend to have similar themes and are differentiated by specific celestial events and minor nuances. This means many of the same themes that were present through Beltane are going to be around for Litha and the rest of the summer sabbats. Where death is a large feature through the dark half of the year, life is a big, if not the biggest, feature through the light half. What brings light more than love, laughter, and fertility? They are vibrant and alive at this time, and it can be seen throughout nature and flowers especially. Midsummer has been celebrated throughout the world. Egyptians designed the Great Pyramids in such a way that when viewed from the Sphinx, the sun will set precisely between the two of the pyramids during the summer solstice. On the coast of Peru, archaeologists discover the ancient Chinchillo observatory complex with buildings that aligned with the sun during the solstices. Stonehenge, which is thought to be over 5,000 years old, is aligned with both the summer and the winter solstice. To this day, there are large festivals held at the henge every solstice and equinox. The Entomology of Litha is actually really interesting because it was entirely created in the mid-20th century. That's not to say that this word wasn't around before then, but it wasn't used as it is today to describe the Midsummer Festival. When Wicca was in its early creation phase and the wheel was just being developed, the creators drew from Celtic and Druidic influences. It is believed that Litha is derived from the 8th century article, The Reckoning of Time. The name Litha was the last name for both June and July in ancient times. While this is somewhat accurate, notes, queries, the medium of intercommunication for literary men, general readers, etc., the 7th volume in the series, written in 1889, gives us a better understanding on the topic. In this book, there are many notes on the Anglo-Saxon names of the month. It tells us that June and July are described as number months of the year. Month 6 is labeled as Se'era Litha, which is translated to the former Litha. Month 7 is Se'aftera Litha, which is translated to the latter Litha. In this dictionary, it states that the name Litha is merely the definite form of live, meaning mild, so that June and July are the mild or warm months. During Finnish midsummer, we burn bonfires and maidens gather flowers and put them under their pillows to receive dreams of suitors and gain a blessing of fertility. That's really fascinating. Flowers under the pillow. But the big bonfires, that's cool. The white night, when it doesn't get dark due to the proximity to the Arctic Circle. The longest day, right? Yeah. Good morning, Katerina. So good to see you. Oh, I'm out of coffee. The Oak King and the Holly King. At Litha, the Oak King is at its peak, but he is forced to look at the challenges that winter will bring. It is believed that the Oak King, who rules the sun in summer, is the goddess's consort. This means that the Oak King is her partner in love, fertility, and abundance. When we talk about the garden goddess in this aspect, in a generalized way, we are really talking about the embodiments for the season. Because this is a summer solstice festival, any solar god can be worshipped. This means not only Celtic sun gods, but the sun gods in every tradition. While not necessarily worshipped by Northwestern Europeans, There are a number of Egyptian sun gods and goddesses that can be acknowledged during this time. For starters, the cat goddess Bastet is closely associated with the sun and is one of the daughters of Ra. We also have Horus, god of the sky. His right eye was the sun and his left one was the moon. This would put him at both the winter and the summer solstice. There's also Nefertum, god of healing and beauty, who represents the first sunlight. Also, midsummer in Finland sounds super awesome. It also means people are drinking all day long. When they say the longest day, there is no night. During the white night, you can also divine the reflection of your future partner by bending over a well while naked. Interesting. That is fascinating. In Nordic traditions, we have the sun goddess Sol, who traveled across the heavens every day in a chariot drawn by horses with the manes on fire. Then there's Kupala, Slavic water goddess of the trees, herbs, sorceries, and flowers. June typically starts some of the rainiest seasons in most climates, so it's fitting to have a water goddess represented in this festival season as well. Maybe that's why Snow White was seeing into a well. Oh, maybe. Nobu. Well, he's just gonna be chirping over there. Oh, someday my prince will come. That shtick. Okay. Shadow work and shadow self. Shadow work is intensely personal, and how you decide to connect with your shadow self is your business. Shadow work is the work we undertake to meet our most authentic self. The longer we avoid our shadow work, the longer our pain festers, leaving our true selves sick and injured. This is the importance of shadow work, to objectively look at ourselves without the goal to change and instead accept what is on the other end. The practice of shadow work teaches us that we can't run away from ourselves, and why would we want to? Floral shadow bonfire. Floral shadow work is one of the most intimate ways of approaching our shadow selves. Working with florals invokes the most tender, delicate aspects of our spirit, that we tend to hide out of fear. Some of us never invoke the tender parts of our personality and may have even forgotten how to access them. The process is not an overnight journey, and you may never find that you are comfortable being tender. The courage to be vulnerable is a strength that not everyone has. Regardless, every person can work through this ritual and begin the task of accessing and healing their bruised and tender bits. The journey to self-love is difficult, but it is some of the most important work you will ever do. Could you imagine meeting between her and him if she were naked, though? Tradition is tradition and customs are customs. I just feel it would be quite a twist in the movie. Yeah. That would be a twist, depending on positions chosen. Yeah. Perform this ritual on a Sunday night, if you can. I have found that it is best to start your week lighter than you left it. If you feel called to do this on another day, that's absolutely fine too. There are no hard and fast rules. This is just another tool for self-care. You can modify this ritual to your needs. If you live in a climate where you are unable to have a fire, feel free to substitute a candle, cauldron, or electric light. Or you could, excuse me, or you could use another geographical feature and invoke a completely different element. Old growth forests, mountains, and the beach are great alternatives for anyone who doesn't feel comfortable using fire. Before you start, you will need to have identified the traits of your personality that no longer serve you. Have these in a list or in your brain. You will also need to consider any items that carry emotional baggage and weigh you down. This is absolutely vital to the success of creating vulnerable freedom within the boundaries and energy of Litha season. Items that carry baggage might be things such as pictures of ex-partners, or a book, or a CD or DVD that brings up bad memories. Don't torture yourself by holding on to the physical stuff that hurts your shadow. Allow yourself to release that attachment to the pain and what it symbolized. You are no longer there and can let go. Important plants are wildflowers, ferns, and birches. We create a gate of young birches before the front door that guests can walk through to be purified. That's awesome. Yeah, replay. Similarly, you whip people with birch twigs in the sauna to do similar purification. I feel that would be nice to have all the time. Yeah. You will need bonfire or fire, however you can get it, a Sharpie, paper, bay leaves if indoors, flowers, any items that carry emotional baggage and weigh you down, or water or something to put out the fire. My dad always said, if you've my asshole side, you've seen my most vulnerable side. Oh. In this sense, it would be quite literal. Okay, I'll take this more seriously now. I find it quite fascinating. To start, light your fire. If you are in a safe place to be unrobed, the fewer the clothes, the better. Walk around the fire in a circle, making sure that it is lit from all angles. As the sparks become a flame, call your higher power to join you in this circle of fire. One by one, write each undesirable personality trait you are giving back to the universe on a piece of paper. When you are ready, take each piece and repeat the following. I'm not into invocations like this, but okay. I release the energy to you, higher power, with love and grace. I ask that you relieve me of the burden I place upon myself. I call myself to action in relieving this burden as well. As it has been, it will not continue to be. Guide me now, higher power, through the garden of my mind. Walk with me as I navigate the shores of my spirit. Lay with me in the fields of my youth. For you have come before me, and you will be here after me as well. My trust I place in you, so be it. Throw the paper in the fire. Repeat this process until you no longer have any papers left. Next, arrange the flowers you have brought with you in your hair. As you do, visualize the most tender parts being front and center. Allow the soft parts to lead the way as you close the ritual. And then it's got like a whole bunch of like basic flower correspondences, which you could Google at any point. I don't really feel the need to read all of these out loud. a very traditional midsummer look. I'm gonna look. Oh, I didn't get that. That's cute. So that is. So Lamas is next. Because to hell if I'm going to pronounce Lugnasath, I think it is. Lugnasath, Freyfest, or Lamas. There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. Also known as Lamas or Loaf Mass, is the third festival on the light half of the wheel. Typically celebrated August 1st, Lamas is the first true autumn harvest festival of the year. However, before we get comfortable with the concept of a general harvest season celebration, Lamas is not just any harvest festival. It is literally a wheat harvest, and the loaves are literally bread. Lamas is the midpoint celebration between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. Over time, this August 1st date has shifted a bit, and Lamas can be found to be celebrated anytime between August 1st through the first weekend of August. Through the first weekend after August 1st. Okay. Lamas is the last of the 4 Gaelic festivals after Samhain, Imbolc, and Beltane. Lugnasath has obvious Celtic origins, being named after the god Lamas comes from the Old Irish name Lugnasad, which roughly translates to Lugh, the god, and Nasad, the assembly. While this version of the festival has an Irish origin, the modern Irish spelling of the festival is Lunasa, which is the month of August. It is believed that Lugnasath is the name for the festival of games that were established to honor the mother of the Celtic sun god Lugh. In celebrating the seasons of life, Beltane de Mabon, Ashley Nogea tells us that there were often games of speed and strength to show remaining vitality that would soon begin to die in the harvest. It was understood that even in death, the circle of life will continue as we are nourished by the death of the harvest. The concept of wheat, harvest day, and the use of the word sacrifice shouldn't be lost on you. The concept may feel reminiscent of another popular god who is said to have sacrificed himself for humankind, cough, cough. However, there is no true relation between the two gods. For pagan gods, there is no element of sin or saving, but an exchange of energy in an ever-flowing cycle. The offering of bread to harvest and imminent death of our God are not so centered around us, but rather part of the natural order and exchange of spiritual energy that flows through everything. Meow! Pabu! What is it, baby? Meow! Cat break? Come here, baby. Yeah, cat break. Purr, purr, purr. I don't know if you can hear her. She's so happy. Such a happy kitty. Mwah. Little meows. Finished harvest celebration is called an Entomology or crop reaping, but literally it means the repairing of life. In tradition, there was a lamb feast eaten in celebration of the spirits of the earth. Oh. The concept of a wheat harvest day and the use of the word sacrifice, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What is interesting about this day specifically is that there are a few different versions of the festival with all different players. In Ireland, we saw Lugnasath and a festival centered around the god Luch. In England, we saw the festival known as Lammas, aka Loaf Mass. Honestly, there is not a much better festival than one centered so squarely around carbs in a folk setting. Going back to the origin of the Wheel of the Year, remember that most Wiccan sabbats were taken from Celtic origins. Lugnasath is no different, being Irish in origin, unless you look at the Scottish, Welsh, or English versions. That is what makes Lammas so unique. Each of these cultures, so closely related, had its own festival with similar yet unique traditions. Yet what we see today in modern paganism is really a combination of every festival and the flavor of modern practice. Babu, honey, you're drooling all over me, honey. Why are you doing this? She's just over here like licking my hands. And purring furiously while licking my hands. Are my hands not clean? Do they need bathing? The church banned both midsummer and harvest celebrations as witchcraft and tried to supplant them with Christian celebrations. Didn't work. Finns continued to burn goat effigies made out of straw. Yeah. Lammas, wheat, and the French Revolution. Lammas is the festival that marks the first wheat harvest. Additionally, it also happens to be the first wheat harvest festival of the year and the first autumnal harvest as well. In some places, Lammas also marks the end of the hay harvest season. It should be noted that while Lammas and Lugnasath start on the same day, originated in similar geographic areas, and have general theme overlaps, they are not, in fact, the same event. I just wanted to call it Lammas and call it a day. Whereas Lugnasath features both the veneration of the god Luch and the wheat harvest, Lammas is more secular, focusing on general gods and the wheat harvest. Go get some food. Thank you for sharing the Finnish take on some of these holidays. Also, I will message you later if you are up for that. Meow. In July, oh wait, no. Here we go. Historically, wheat has been one of the most important commodity and trade items in the world, especially in Europe. Bread and other wheat products have been an important part in feeding people for generations, and during no, not a typo, but it is like a bad print. Have a most excellent day, Mikhail. Thank you for sharing. Yay. And during times of bad crops, there have been full political uprisings. In July 1789, the Bastille was stormed, and the accessibility to bread may or may not have played a huge role in this, and the entire French Revolution. During the time of the Little Ice Age, crops were blighted in a serious manner. This led to a shortage of grain, specifically wheat. As the Little Ice Age continued, food shortages increased, and the availability of affordable food decreased. In 1775, over 300 riots were recorded stemming from an outrage over rising grain prices and availability of grain in general. This wave of protest was later called the Flour War and can feel reminiscent of some American Revolutionary events. Grain products were especially important in France during this time period because it was estimated that bread probably accounted for upward of 80% of the middle and lower class diet. Any change in availability or pricing sparked more than just unrest. Bring me the dough, Thor's whole wheat altar bread. What better way to work with wheat than getting your hands down dirty in it? I have been making and teaching this basic bread for prosperity for a few years, and each rendition of the bread gets better. This recipe was originally adapted from one that I found on the internet written by Nita Crab. Making your own altar bread, especially during a wheat harvest festival, connects you to the energy of your spiritual practice as well as your reverence and dedication to the gods and spirits you are observing. This recipe makes 2 loaves. Leave 1 loaf on your altar and eat the other on the morning beginning Lugnasoth. Ingredients: 3 cups warm water at 110 degrees, 2 packages of dry yeast, 0.25 ounces each, 2 tablespoons honey plus 1/3 cup honey, 5 cups white bread flour, half a cup of oatmeal, half a cup of dried cranberries, half a cup of raisins, 3 tablespoons butter melted, 1 tablespoon salt, 3.5 cups whole wheat flour. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. In a large bowl, mix warm water, yeast, and honey. Let stand for 5 minutes. Add white bread flour, oatmeal, cherries, and raisins, and stir to combine. Let dough sit for 30 minutes or until big and bubbly. Mix in melted butter, honey, and salt. Stir in 2 cups whole wheat flour. If you have a stand-up mixer, mix the dough hook until dough pulls away from the sides of the mixing bowl. If you do not have a mixer or prefer to knead by hand, flour a flat surface and knead with the whole wheat flour until the dough is just barely pulling away from the counter. This may take an additional 1 to 2 cups of whole wheat flour. Use discretion. Once the dough has been kneaded, split it into 2 equal pieces. These are your 2 loaves. Take the first piece, and separate it into 3 equal parts. Roll each section into long, thick strands for braiding. As you braid the 3 strands together, thank the gods, the universe, and your ancestors for your health, wealth, and prosperity. Each plait should have a Thanksgiving attached to it. Repeat the braiding process with the second loaf. Place the loaves in a greased baking pan or dish and let it rise in the warm oven for about 20 minutes. The loaves should double in size. Once the bread has risen, turn the oven to 350 degrees and set the timer for 25 minutes. When the bread is golden brown, remove it from the oven and spread butter all over the warm loaves. Let cool for several minutes before removing from the pan. Take this simple cooking ritual up to the next level by also making butter to go with it. The bread is best made and eaten on Thursday or Sunday. Thursday is the day of Thor, and Sunday is the day of the sun. As Logne is a sun god, and Lognasath is his harvest holiday, you could easily make this for any purpose. The wheat and the honey are meant to welcome in prosperity to the hearth and home. Goddess Butter Ritual. Butter is considered sacred in many cultures, and especially important in this Celtic-influenced cultures. Choosing to create butter will merge the energy of the god and the goddess, welcoming them both into the harvest celebration that your body will partake in. Creating an altar meal for prosperity also shows our gods, guides, and ancestors that we value their presence and will ultimately further strengthen our relationships with them. By creating with cream, we can tap its abundant energy and offer to the old gods. This butter is a whole ritual related to manifesting prosperity and abundance with the goddess as our beacon of light. If you work with any specific goddess, feel free to call upon her when creating this butter. If you do not work with any specific goddesses, you can call upon Mother Nature, the Lady of the Land, your guides, your ancestors, or anyone you feel comfortable with. Cream is typically associated with the female deities because it is the life-sustaining source that females create for their offspring. But if you associate with non-binary or male gods, you can call upon them as well. Oh, this sounds awesome, actually. For the altar, you want paper money, you want fresh basil, you want cinnamon stick, you want a small piece of string, and a green or yellow chime candle. For the butter, 24 ounces of heavy cream. 24 ounces. That's a lot of butter. Pinch of sugar, pinch of salt, dried Italian seasoning, or dried basil to taste. This has all the herbs you need for prosperity. To begin, take the paper money and the fresh basil and roll them together with the cinnamon stick. The cinnamon stick should be in the middle. Tie this together with a piece of string and set it on your altar. In this working, basil is used to attract prosperity, while cinnamon is used to aid its speed and progress. Next to this bundle, light your chime candle and welcome in your higher powers. Chime candles are small candles that can burn all the way down in one sitting, typically in less than 30 minutes, which is why they are useful when you are cooking. Oh, my legs. Next to the bundle, light your chime candle and welcome in your higher powers. I read that already. Move over to your kitchen and wash your hands in preparation to make the butter. In a large bowl or mixer, add the heavy cream, sugar, salt, and Italian seasoning. Mix on medium-high for 15 to 20 minutes until the butter separates from the liquid. This liquid portion is buttermilk, and you can save it for future use. Take the butter in your hands and squeeze out the remainder of the milk. This is important. I keep a second bowl of ice water while I do this because I find that helps extract the milk. Place the butter into a large bowl or jar and set it next to your bread and candle on the altar. Give thanks to your guides, ancestors, and higher powers, and invite them to enjoy. If you intend to make enough butter for personal use, fresh butter will keep around 2 weeks when refrigerated. And then it goes on to Mabon. Where is Haley when you need her? Miss Bread Maker. Oh. We have 15 minutes left. I would rather chat for the last 15 minutes. Not sure if we are playing tonight. We shall see. Tani just arrived. No problem. No comment. What is your day looking like? My day is looking like drawing comics and sleeping. I should have 2 more goals, but I haven't come up with them yet. I should look at my stuff and see. Maybe I will work on concepts as well. And I need to work on Flambeau, so I need to do some writing today. I haven't started Maya's thing, so I'll put in Maya. Hydrate and stretch should be your other goals, yeah. Our toddler muzzle's inhumane, asking for a friend. In my honest opinion. The friend is me. I'm the friend. Stretching. Maybe a second cup of coffee. Or I'll go back to bed. I haven't decided yet. In case you guys didn't know, I am hosting a workshop on Sunday at 2 in the afternoon. I am talking about series Bibles. Lollipops, genius, I have one and willing to clean up the stick for a chance to actually sit down for a bit. Yeah. The eternal question, coffee or sleep? Sleepies are in the air. I got snatched into a nap around 4 yesterday, but I woke up at 6 a.m. Whoa. I guess you needed the rest. Woohoo, baby wipes for the win. Oh, clean up the sticky. Okay. Yeah. That was really cool, Mikhail popping up again. That was very nice of him. Them? Question mark. I already took my meds. And there is a cat here that would probably sleep on me. So sleeping next to my husband sounds awesome. That sounds like quite the nap. I'm glad you got some good sleep. Yeah, I don't fight naps anymore. Like, why? I guess I'm maturing. Yeah. When I stopped fighting naps, I found that I am a much more bearable person. I'm a much happier person. Yay, naps tank. I'm with you, Tani. I am not 2 anymore, so bring on the nap. Apparently, I had this conversation with someone recently. I can't remember who. But my mother tells me that around 3 o'clock every day, I would scream. I would cry. I would throw a tantrum. And I had volume while my sister had pitch. I had volume. So a neighbor, this was in Germany, a neighbor called the cops on my mom because they thought that I was being abused. And the cops showed up, and my mom is sitting on the porch while I am inside screaming my head off. And the cop is like, well, you're obviously not abusing your child. What's the problem? And my mother replies, she does this every day. Nothing I can do will change anything. She does this every day. And I have needed naps ever since. I am a much nicer, more productive person if I have my nap. So I do not fight the nap anymore. And there are ways that I can circumvent the nap if I have to, like if I have a job that, like that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hump, like is not something that I can take time off for. Then I have some tricks that, you take a walk, eat some lunch, all of that stuff. Drink a bunch of water. And but now that I'm working for myself and my hours are malleable, like I would much rather just sleep. Yeah, I think we talked about this at one point. I was outside when I was mentioning it, so I think we were in the Discord chat. Why, thank you. Well, there are 5 minutes left. Thank you all for joining me today. I think I'm going to go back to bed. Today we talked about Litha and Lamas. We will talk about Mabon tomorrow. I was just unwittingly exposed to one of the weirdest commercials I've ever seen. It wasn't even Japanese. What the hell are you doing up? For real. If I can't nap, I used to do 30-minute sensory break. Yeah, eye cover and some meditation buzz on the headphones. But like you now, I have a flexible schedule. So naps. Yes, power to the nap. You pot calling the kettle black right here. Come on. What are you doing awake? Also, you hopped in just as I'm wrapping up. and I'm going back to bed. Going back to bed. I've been awake since 11 p.m. Oh, I see. Tell us about it in the Discord, Raven. I am interested. Good idea, sensory breaks. I do that. Actually, nap time is kind of my sensory break. Like, there are times where I'm just a little overstimulated and I just need to, like, put on some fire and snuggle with a cat and just chill out. I'm going to smash this keyboard. Enjoy your nap. You're going to smash this keyboard? Why are you being facetious? Are you being figurative? Now I'm worried. Rip Tanny's keyboard. Yeah. Rest in peace. Typing up a storm. Yes. So in the figurative sense, writing. Typing up a storm. I need to have like a better wrap up. Again, I guess I will do my outro again, or my intro again, and talk about my thing. Howdy Howlers, it's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Void. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. Today, we talked about Demesne and Litha. And tomorrow we will talk about Mabon. Sunday at 2 p.m. I will be talking about series Bibles. I have a presentation and everything. It's going to be awesome. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.